Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the Senate, many of us are deeply hurting because of what's happening in the Middle East. Just a few weeks ago, on November 6th, this suffering became very personal in my district as word quickly spread that 21-year-old Rose Lubin from Dunwoody lost her life in the line of duty as a border officer in Israel. Many of my friends and supporters personally knew Rose and her family. I heard the news on November 6th when I arrived at my rock climbing gym and found a very distraught climbing partner who had just found out. My communication director's daughter was friends with Rose at Dunwoody High School. It is therefore my honor this morning to be able to recognize Rose's life through the passage of a Senate resolution. Mr. President, would you please ask the Secretary to read Senate Resolution 11EX?
Secretary, read the resolution, please. Senate Resolution 11EX by Senator Harrell of the 40th and others. A resolution honoring the life and memory of Rose Ida Lubin and for other purposes. Whereas Sergeant Rose Ida Lubin, known to her family and friends as Rosie, was born December 1st, 2002, to David and Robin Lubin, and grew up to be as the oldest of 5 siblings in Dunwoody, Georgia. And whereas Rose was an exceptional student throughout her life and an accomplished wrestler, flag football player, cheerleader, dancer, singer, and more at Dunwoody High School. And whereas, following her deep and abiding faith and connection to the Jewish people, Rose made Aliyah, the return to Israel afforded to all Jews after graduating high school in 2021. And whereas in March 2002, Rose enlisted in the Israel Defense Forces, where she became a combat-trained soldier specializing in terrorism and was deployed with the Israeli Border Police. And whereas on October 7, 2023, an off-duty Sergeant Lubin bravely defended her host kibbutz and neighboring communities near the Gaza border from a brutal terrorist attack and helped get injured victims to safety. And whereas just weeks after the Hamas onslaught, Sergeant Lubin's young life was taken much too soon by another terrorist attack near Herod's Gate, one of the oldest entrances to the old city of Jerusalem, where she was stationed. And whereas Sergeant Lubin was an exceptional daughter, stepdaughter, sibling, granddaughter, niece, cousin, student, and friend who was admired and loved by everyone who knew her. And whereas Sergeant Lubin gave her life protecting and defending the Jewish people and all Israeli citizens from terrorism. And whereas Sergeant Lubin's sacrifice and memory serves as a reminder of the urgent need for peace to prevail in Israel and the surrounding region, where future generations can live without without the threat of constant conflict. Now therefore be it resolved by the Senate that the members of this body honor the life and memory of Sergeant Rose Lubin and extend their deepest and most sincere regret at her passing. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Though I didn't personally know Rose, it's clear from listening to stories about her that she was a passionate, empathic young woman, a free spirit who didn't hesitate to do her own thing. From a very young age, Rose was determined to serve and protect the people of Israel, telling kids on the playground, "I can be friends with you now, but I'm moving to Israel when I'm 18. And that's exactly what she was doing when she protected her home kibbutz from Hamas terrorists on October 7th, and again when she was attacked while on duty guarding the old city of Jerusalem. Robin and David, I know that you are proud of Rose. And as a mom myself of 2 young adult children, I understand the desire to protect them. I also know what it's like to have a child who's born with a passion that just can't be subdued. And I know that there are other members of this body who also know that experience. As parents, we must let them go, to do the things that they were sent to this world to do, even though that comes with risk. I know that every senator here today holds your family in love and prayer, giving you the strength necessary to keep Rose's spirit alive and kicking. Let us all stand and recognize David and Reuben Lubin and their family. Thank you. And before I yield, it's important to acknowledge, as we did in the resolution, that Rose is just one of many young people who have lost their lives as a result of this war. Therefore, we pray today for an end to this conflict and for everlasting peace in the region. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well.